Rodriguez, being sponsored in honor of D25 veterans. Here to introduce our speaker, welcome International Director and Army Veteran Chris Ranieri, and immediate past District Director and Marine Veteran Jesse Ford to introduce our speaker.
Good morning, everybody, and greetings, Toastmasters. As Toastmasters and military presidents, we would like to welcome our guest speaker, Felipe Rodriguez. Felipe Rodriguez, a U.S. Marine veteran, the best branch of the military, in my opinion, author of Unbreakable, certified life coach, you have something to say about that, certified personal trainer, and veterans disability strategy coach. After experiencing kidney failure and spending years on dialysis before receiving a life-saving transplant, he rebuilt his life through discipline, preparation, and personal responsibility. Felipe now speaks on resilience, leadership development, and mental readiness, helping individuals strengthen consistency in communication and decision-making under pressure. As a father of two and advocate for veterans, he is passionate about equipping others to lead themselves before leading others. Through structured frameworks and lived experience, Felipe challenges audiences to replace motivation with commitment and activate the inner discipline required for sustained success. Please help me welcome Felipe Rodriguez.
Let me turn my phone off so it doesn't ring. 5 years. 5 years I sat in a federal prison cell. A year after prison, I sat in another chair, connected to a machine with 2 needles the size of a number 2 pencil in my arm, and watch this dialysis machine take the blood out of my body, clean it, and put it back in my body. 3 times a week, 4.5 hours each session for 4 years. So if you think your life is busy right now, try add another 6 hours to that day, 3 times a week. Missing birthday parties, missing weddings, missing funerals, having to adjust my life, new diet, canceling traveling plans, just so I could live. Now, through those circumstances, I learned that your future isn't decided by your past or what you're going through. Your future is decided by your standards, okay? People believe that motivation is what makes you successful. I don't agree. Discipline does. Because when motivation disappears, is when the pain shows up. Because when you're in pain, the only thing that remains is your discipline. I was in prison. I went through dialysis. I had to rebuild my life. I'm a father. I became a leader. And through all of that, life kept teaching me these lessons over and over and over again. But today, I call those lessons the Ready Method. I am the creator of the Ready Method and the author of the Ready Method. Okay? In the Marine Corps, we use acronyms. Okay? And there's always that question, are you ready? Okay? As a child, when you played football, you grab your son or your daughter and you tell them, you ready? And of course, they're always going to say yes, because in the back of their mind, they're like, I'm as ready as I can get. Okay? But what does that really mean? Let me break it down to you. Okay? Because one of my superpowers, discipline. But if we break down that ready, we're looking at responsibility, effort, adaptability, discipline, and your standard. Okay? Let's start with responsibility, since we're talking about superheroes. I'm pretty sure when I use that word, there's a superhero that comes to mind. Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. Uncle Ben told Peter Parker that. Right? Aunt May told the new Peter Parker. Just a variant. Okay? Leadership is based on responsibility, because the minute you stop using excuses and you finally realize that it's all on me, that's when you understand leadership. Okay? When I sat in dialysis, nobody was going to sit in that chair for me. I had to sit there. Now, one of the biggest lessons I learned from responsibility was when I went to prison, I had made a decision, and one of those consequences was sitting in a federal cell for 5 years. And I remember a time the officer came and said, "Rodriguez, you got a visitor." Okay, get up. Where I was at, there's a glass window that separates you and your visitor. There's a phone on each side. And I walked in there and I sat down. I was like, could it be my dad, a brother, maybe a friend? And around that corner was my mother. Nobody wants to disappoint mom. And I sat there like, geez. She came around that corner and she sat there and she grabbed the phone. And she knocked on that window and that glass, and I was like, grab the phone. She goes, "Son, last thing a mother wants to do is see her son on the other side of this glass." I know, Mom. In the back of my head, I'm thinking I could blame him or her or whoever. I made a mistake, and I'm gonna deal with the consequences. That's on me. That's my responsibility. She goes, "Okay. Hopefully things will change, because I don't ever want to do this again. And I'll see you when you get out." Roger that. That taught me a huge lesson. And if there's one thing I had time to do was reflect for 5 years. Okay? I wouldn't recommend that to anybody. That was my lesson. Effort. Effort is something that I like to teach my children. If you're ever going to do anything, you give it 100%. You give it 100%. I don't care if you're a janitor. I don't care if you're out there behind a computer. You be the best at what you are, okay? I guarantee if you give everything 100%, you're going to be rewarded 100%, because if you go half-assed in anything, expect that half-assed result. Excuse me for using that word. We'll use it pretend it's a donkey. When I was a child growing up, to about 10 years old, I grew up down on the border by Mexico, a little town called Edinburgh, Texas. It's over by McAllen. And in the 80s, it was predominantly mostly Spanish speakers. So of course, I spoke a little bit of Spanglish. And I ended up having this heavy accent. Then when we moved up to North Texas, they didn't have that accent up here. And I remember going to a church and having to read this book. When I read it out loud, I had a hard time saying the words. And people were laughing at my accent. And I didn't like that feeling, not being 10 years old. And I told my mother, I never want to go there again. Matter of fact, I want to hit everybody there. She goes, "Son, we don't do that. Why don't we do this? Why don't we start to learn to read?" So I started reading these books. And of course, at the time, I don't know what they call it nowadays, we were considered food. We were in that food stamp era. So I kind of grew up poor. My parents did everything they could, but it is what it is. So we used to go to garage sales a lot. She even had a bumper sticker in the back of her car that says, "This car stops at all garage sales." And I remember I would look through things and I would always find Garfield books, which is a cat that liked to eat pasta. And I used to read it, and it would make me laugh. And I'd read to my mom, "Hey, Mom, look what Garfield did with Odie. He was eating the pasta." But the more and more I read to her, my accent started going away. I started getting more confidence in reading out loud to my cousins and my father and everybody that was around me to share this joke with this cat that was eating pasta. Years go on. I ended up signing up for this UIL drama play. And all the years of me reading and acting out this cat that would eat this pasta, I won Best Actor for the state of Texas in a UIL drama play. Now, if you would have told that kid that was 10 years old that one day he was going to be here at a District 25 talking amongst y'all, he wouldn't believe a word you tell him. But it was his effort that got him here today to speak amongst y'all. Adaptability. Adaptability, as we know it, is life is never fair. I don't care what color you are. I don't care how tall you are. I don't care what race you are. Life is going to hit you so hard that if you're not ready for that, or how you accept that, it'll knock you down. And for some people, unfortunately, it's put them 6 feet under the ground. So sometimes in life, we have to adapt, we have to adjust, we have to pivot to whatever life's going to bring at us. When I got out of the Marine Corps, I spent those years speaking military jargon. Okay? Back then, it was easy for me to say, "Chow's at 1600. Nowadays, nobody's gonna understand me, so I gotta say, "Dinner's at 8 p.m. It's just adapting. And at the time, it was a struggle. But it's really so easy, you know? There's a part of your mind when you start to struggle that there's something that shuts off and you can't think. That a 6-year-old could say, "But Dad, why don't you just put a match and light the fire?" But you're not thinking because you're just so stressed out and you're just so worried about the little things, and the answers are so simple. That those parts of your mind shut down, the creativeness, the adaptability. Discipline, which I believe is the most powerful thing a human being can have. Discipline started when I was in the Marine Corps. Okay? Since we're talking about heroes and powers, there was this little 4-foot green guy in Star Wars, Master Yoda, who would say there was do or do not. There is no try. Okay? If I took this table and I try to lift it up, this is actually lifting up. This is not lifting up. There is no try. We don't even know what try looks like. It's just the word that we use to tell somebody, an excuse that we make to say, "I tried." No, you didn't. Because there is no try. You either do it or you don't. Okay? One of the things that helped me through my dialysis journey was discipline. When I was in the Marine Corps, we worked out every day. We woke up and we did our thing. And I took that into my dialysis journey, because that's what helped me clear my mind. I would wake up every day and I would work out. Because one of the questions I asked the doctor was, "Is there anything that would keep me from getting a transplant?" So I said, "Yeah, actually there is. Not only do we have to find your blood type, you have to be mentally prepared, ready for the surgery. You cannot be obese. You cannot have high blood pressure. Those will eliminate you from getting a kidney transplant." Roger that. So I worked out, and everybody in my life thought I was crazy, but they didn't see the mission in my head. Because what I wanted was that day I did get a phone call, and if they asked me, "Are you ready?" "You're damn right I am." So I was going to put in the time. I was going to wake up every day, and I was going to work out. And I didn't care if it took me a year, 5 years, 10 years. My vision was 20 years. Your standard. Your standard is revealed on who you are at the end of the day. Because motivation can only keep you up so much. 365 days a year, I've never met a motivated person for 365 days a year. Maybe once or twice out of the month. You'll catch them and they'll be all optimistic, rah, rah, ooh. Then what happened? Life smacks them in the face real hard. That's when your standard shows up. That shows you who you are. You get a phone call, your best friend just died. Where's that motivation? Your mother just died. Where's your motivation? Who you really are is going to show up. You're going to break down, you're going to cry, and you're going to get depressed, you're going to go through whatever your standard is. Or you're going to rise up. You're going to rise up to the standard. You may say, you know what? I know mom's dead, but I got to take over. I got to work still. I got to pay rent. I got to make sure the funeral's taken care of. I got to do all these things. Somebody's got to stand up. We can't all fall down and cry and be depressed. We could set some time for that. The motivation's not going to get you through any of that. Before I went into the Marine Corps, I was just a young 17-year-old stud who played football, ran track. A recruiter showed up to my high school. I went to a school named Salina, known as the Bobcats, town of winners. I'm a winner, actually. And when the recruiter showed up, I walked up to his little booth and I said, "What's it take to get one of those shirts?" He looked at me and literally started packing things up. Hello? One of those shirts. He's like, "You don't have what it takes." You know who I am? I'm a Salina Bobcat. We're winners. Started packing this stuff up. Left his business card. When you're ready to talk, give me a call. Now, at the time, I didn't know that was a whole sales thing, but that hurt me. And he packed up and left. And I sat there and thought, what? I don't have what it takes. I just wanted a shirt. And it bugged me and it bugged me and it bugged me. 2 weeks later, I showed up to his office and I said, "Hey, there was a guy that went to my school. I wanted a shirt." He said, "I don't have what it takes." What does it take? Here comes another recruiter. He looked at me as fresh meat. Have a seat. Opened up a book, showed me some pictures. Now at that time, Rambo was out, Commando was out, all the good movies were out. Real men. Showed me the stuff. This is what he told me. The standard for a Marine, you have to be able to do 18 pull-ups, 80 sit-ups in under 2 minutes, and a 3-mile run in under 18 minutes. That's the standard. Okay, I got it. You ready to be a Marine? I couldn't meet any of those numbers. Maybe I didn't have what it took. So I went and I trained for 6 months. The discipline in me trained for 6 months until I could hit those numbers. And the day I was able to hit those numbers, I proudly walked into that Marine recruiter's office and said, "I'm ready. What's it take?" It's all right, we ship out on this day. You better make sure you hit those numbers. And I'm thinking, wow, I barely hit those numbers. But when I got to boot camp, we did what was called a physical fitness test, a PFT. And that's just so they can see where you're at, and later they help build you. Okay? I found out in order just to make it there at the beginning, all you needed to do was 1 pull-up, 40 sit-ups, and a 3-minute mile. And I was like, he gave me the max. to pass the test. But he held me to that standard, and I met that standard. And I went through boot camp. I'm not going to say it was easy, but I ended up graduating most physically fit Marine out of that class. He held me to a standard, I hit the standard, and I stuck that standard. And through my whole military career, I kept that standard. Every time my run would get better, I would get stronger, because it was stuck in my head. But to this day, when I tell people, you know what it takes to be a Marine? And I tell them those things. Unfortunately, the PFT has changed. But the acronym READY: responsibility, effort, adaptability, discipline, your standard. Okay? I tell people, if you want respect, nobody's going to give it to you. Earn it. Okay? If you say you're going to do something, do it. Don't say it at all if you're not going to do it. People respect that. People respect if you show up on time. People respect if you do work. I don't even have to say a thing. But if you show up and you give me 100%, somebody's going to say, excuse me, come here. I like what you do. I got an opportunity for you. If you hit at least the first 4, responsibility, effort, adaptability, and discipline, you're a winner. Change your standard, you'll be surprised of all the opportunities and all the doors that'll open. When I first found out that I had chronic kidney disease, I had no symptoms, which sucks. I was throwing up, and every once in a while I'd have a headache. And when I talk about a headache, it was full blown. It was a migraine. But I always justified it. I said, maybe it was a couple of drinks that I had. That's what it is. I'm dehydrated. Maybe it was that queso at that Mexican restaurant right over there. Has to be that. It was always something I would justify why I was throwing up and why I would get a headache. Maybe it was the dehydration from me working out. It's always got to be something. Then Thanksgiving came around. Everybody made great food. I came up and I was like, I'm feeling well. Throwing up. Got a headache. Let me lay down in the dark for a little bit. Christmas, same thing. I'm gonna throw up. Got a headache. Excuse myself. And everybody around me would say, you all right? Good. Shake it off. Freaking Marine, okay? It wasn't until my brother's wife died and I was at the funeral. And while they're giving the service, it hit me again. And I had to excuse myself so I can go throw up. And everybody at the funeral just saw how rude I was to walk out of service to go throw up. And it was at that time my parents said, hey, let's go get you checked up. Now at that time, I didn't have insurance. I was just a personal trainer. We went to a Care Now, paid like $100, got my blood test. I said, I just need something for my headache, doc. Let's do some labs. It sounds pretty serious. Did labs. He comes out, as soon as he reads the labs, you need to go to an emergency room. Like literally right now. Just a headache, doc. No. You're throwing up because you have so much toxins in your body that your kidneys are failing to clean out. All that toxins is coming out. Went to the hospital, got a checkup. You are stage 5 kidney disease. Which all of them were like looking at me like, it's weird. Because you can walk, you can move, you laugh, you're non-symptomatic. I don't know what chronic kidney disease means, doc. He said, well, your kidneys are not working at all. And the only way you can get rid of these toxins, besides, you're throwing it up. Okay, so what does that mean? Why did 1 through 4 not ever hit me? You just happen to be one of those people. Either you happen to be one of those people, or, I hate to say this, pain doesn't bother you, where you've suffered so much that suffering has become so comfortable to you that you can't even realize the difference. So what now? Well, there's two options. We're going to install a fistula in your arm. You're going to have to live off a machine for the rest of your life. Okay? Or you can find a family member, a friend that has the same blood type as you, and they can say, hey, I'll give them my kidney. I got 2 of them. And the other way is you fill out this form, get on the kidney transplant list, and somebody would have to die, and then you would get their organ. But that can't happen unless you fill out this paperwork. Bring out the paperwork. Let's do this. And that's when they told me you got to be in the best shape of your life in order to be on this. Now, the normal wait time is 6+ years for your blood type. Okay. To me, I looked at it like another military term. I got to embrace the suck. Well, I'm doing it. I'm going to work out, and I'm going to do everything I can to get ready for this procedure. At the time, I was doing CrossFit. Everybody thought I was nuts. Not just for the CrossFit, but for doing CrossFit while on dialysis. I would literally, it became my comfort zone that I worked out every day. The discipline in me was just there, and I wanted to compete. That when I would go to dialysis, I would have them pull it out, bandage me up real good, show up to a CrossFit competition, drink some pickle juice, drink some electrolytes, and here we go. I would be bleeding half of the competition from my arm. And everybody thought I was nuts. Their definition of nuts. To me, that was normal. Okay? Now, as I went through all this, it was just like me fighting the inner depression out of me. I always tell people this. If you ever feel sad or you ever feel down, get busy. So you don't have to think about it. That's how I was dealing with it. It's like I found another way to take this uncomfortness. Then I made it so comfortable, it became a habit that everybody thought I was loco in the cabeza, which means crazy in the head. And I would do that over and over and over. A year and a half passed by. And I'm sitting there in the dialysis. And the nephrologist comes by with a little computer laptop. She goes, Felipe, numbers look great. Where are you on the transplant list? I said, I don't know, doc. I didn't know I had that clearance to look where I was on the list. She goes, well, let's call. She gets on the phone. She makes the phone call. She goes, yeah, I got a Felipe Rodriguez here. Date of birth, last 4 of the social security number. Always not on the list. Okay, all right. Did you fill out all the paperwork? You were with me, doc. I filled out everything I needed to fill out when you gave me those options. Okay, let's do this. Let's fill out some more paperwork. Let's do that. I don't even want to think about the past. Okay, fill out it again. Another year and a half goes by. Same phone call, everything. He's still not on the list. Just my luck. What can we do about it? Let's just move right on along. All right, doc, this time, give me a couple of copies. I want to hand it to him, to her, to everybody. That's my responsibility. It's on me, right? Because if I give it to this person, they don't turn it in, that's on me, right? I should have made sure it got to the right person. So I said, why don't we fill it out for a different hospital? There's one in Dallas called Dallas Medical. It's all right. I picked this hospital. A little over a year later, my phone rang. 11 p.m. Sunday. Pick up the phone. It says Dallas Medical Center. Now, on the other end of the phone, the lady says, sir, Mr. Rodriguez, date of birth, social security number, yada, yada, yada. I'm just going to ask you a question. Yes or no? 23-year-old female died. We have a kidney for you. Do Do you accept it? Yes, I do. How much time do I have to get to the hospital? They said, you got 45 minutes. I'm on my way. We're going to get the prep team ready. Hauled butt over there. Now, I'm a little confused. It's only a year I was on the waiting list. I was told 6+ years. So when I get there, they make me fill out all kinds of paperwork. Okay, you know, through this procedure, you might go blind. Through this procedure, you may never walk again. This procedure, all this stuff. And to the part they said, we're going to put a catheter. Hold on, wait. Hold on. I don't know about that. Okay. As I'm sitting there, laying there, getting ready, doctor comes in. Everything looks great. Numbers look great. You look great. Kidney looks beautiful. I said, Doc, I'm kind of confused. I've only been on the list for a little over a year, and I was told that it was going to take 6+ years for me to get a kidney transplant. I said, Mr. Rodriguez, might sound funny what I'm going to tell you, but it normally does. But out of the thousands of people that we looked on the list, you were the only one that was ready. I have a book called The Ready Method, okay? You can find it on Amazon. One of the powers I always tell people, responsibility, effort, adaptability, discipline, your standard. And if you can engrave that in your head, even if you're in a leadership position, I use that every time when I talk to my peers, to employees. We go through it. Okay, let's talk about why you're late. Okay, you said you were stuck in traffic for 20 minutes. Now you know you're supposed to be here at this time. Remember that interview? You said you'd be here between that time. Nothing was going to hold you back. But yet you blamed this. Going forward, take some responsibility. Wake up a little extra, a little early, in case there's traffic. That way you don't use that as an excuse. Because the same excuse over and over and over. Put that responsibility in your hands. If you show up 10 minutes early, you'll never get in trouble for that, right? It's that 10 or 20 minutes late that'll get you in trouble. As a matter of fact, for me, in the Marine Corps, and I believe it's almost any branch, if you show up on time, you're late. Okay? Because showtime is at 8 a.m., not 8:01. I don't want you walking in grabbing a cup of coffee at 8:01. I need you grinding and working at that time. And then, of course, effort. There's nothing wrong with giving anything 100%. I've never, ever heard anybody got rid of for giving 100%. I've never fired anybody for 100%. 10%, 20%. And then always remember adaptability. Adjust, pivot. It's not the end of the world. Growing up, I watched Rocky. Tells my age. But in Rocky, when he fought Apollo Creed, his discipline and his efforts what got him to the championship. But guess what? He didn't win. And he won everybody's hearts because he made it to the 12th round. But the champ wanted to fight him again because he didn't like that. Apollo Creed said, I want to fight that man again. So what did Rocky do? He fought him again. But this time, he adjusted. He changed from southpaw to rightpaw. And he fought and he won the championship. Have y'all seen Rocky? It's Then he fights Clubber Lang, Mr. T, if y'all don't know who Clubber Lang is. But what does he do? He lost. He lost because he lost self-belief in himself. Mickey died. He got a new trainer. He lost belief in himself that it took Adrian to say, win. And Mr. T went out there and got his butt whooped by Rocky. And then we can talk about all the rest of the movies, but they're classics. But there's a famous phrase that Rocky later uses in the movie Rocky Balboa that he says, stop blaming him or her or them. Cowards do that, and that's not you. If you believe what you're worth, then go out there and get what you're worth. I love that phrase. I always have to tell my friends, family members, do it. Believe in yourself, follow the basics, the ready method, and you'll be a winner. My name is Felipe Rodriguez. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Felipe. That was definitely inspiring. Are we ready now?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm ready. So, Felipe, on behalf of District 25, I'd like to present you with this plaque. I won't take it out of the box here, but you can see that it says, Felipe Rodriguez, thank you from District 25. And if we get a picture here. All right, thank you. This is yours.
Thank
And
you.
don't forget to use the QR codes to give feedback on today's session. So thank you very much.
I do have one more thing. Gio, my cameraman, can you bring my bag for me, please? I'm going to ask six of y'all, maybe more, because y'all might get the answers wrong. What does READY stand for?
Ready stands for, gosh, I can't, I don't know if I can remember. Responsibility.
And?
Effort.
Effort. Responsibility, effort, adaptability, discipline, and your standard. Okay? I know you tried. The title of the doctor who helped me with my dialysis. Damn. Every one of y'all only got $5 more. What town did I grow up in? God, y'all were. Edinburgh, Texas.
I've been there.
Really? You know the accent. I don't have it anymore. Well, what's my blood type?
Oh, negative.
I don't remember you saying it. Say AB negative. Rare.
B negative is rare.
Hard to get.
You said you live,
It's very rare. You said it's one of the rarest.
Who said B negative?
I did. Because it was rare. Thank you.
Whoever says this first. Help me judge this. What's my last name? Heard you first.
We already have one. I'm with her. So give
Oh.
someone else.
From the acronym READY, out of responsibility, effort, adaptability, discipline, and your standard, which is the most powerful? All they own. Here we go, last one. Where did this fall from? It's a sign. I don't know. The superhero I mentioned. You got it first. Thank y'all very much. I think it came from this.
Could you sign this for me?
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I know. Thanks for
Yeah.
making me cry.